Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 66, the three more away episode until we're done.
Three away episode. Until we pack the show up, we go home, we reach the number. We're just gonna keep doing that. We're gonna start a new podcast.
We take it on the road.
69, start again.
Yeah, I think that's a good policy.
Sounds good. I like it.
Oh man. How's everybody doing?
All right. Great.
Good.
I'm tired.
Tired?
Yeah, I took a big boy nap today. You know, like usually I take a nap that's like 20 minutes to try and get in and out, just a little refresher nap. I tried to do that today. It took a good hour and a half, full on sleep, heavy, deep sleep nap.
Couple REM cycles.
Yeah.
But I feel good because I think I was just tired. Like I think I just didn't sleep enough last night. So now I feel good. I'm ready to talk. I want to talk to Tefty about his 3080. I want to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, and I want to talk about Star Wars. I got my TIE fighter right
Hunter.
here.
Wow.
Zoom.
Wow.
You can't see it,
What is that?
I do want to hear about Squadrons.
Yeah, Squadrons came out. Squadrons came out last week, right?
It came out on Tuesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Last
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Briar,
Wednesday?
Friday.
Friday, my
You
bad.
know-
You've been playing it,
Same
Briar. Let's hear about Squadrons, man.
Let's go
All right.
Squadrons. Let's do it.
So it came out last Friday, but we got a copy on Tuesday. It was like one of those early copies, like, you know, Sign Your Life Away kind of things. And I played it on Tuesday. I played it out in 4K, like on a TV behind me. And I've been playing with a full HOTAS setup, like a Thrustmaster, joystick, and throttle control, and all the buttons and everything. And it felt pretty good. Did you guys ever play the TIE Fighter or X-Wing games back in the late 90s on PC?
No, I don't think so.
It feels very much like a spiritual sequel to those games. Like very, very similar. The way you control your ship, the way you control like your shields and like the power to your engines or your weapons and all that stuff. It also has a bit of the Rogue Squadron feel to it, where it's very arcadey. It's obviously a dogfighting game, right? Where you can play as either the New Republic. It takes place right after, not Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It takes place right after that. So the Death Star's been destroyed. The second Death Star's been destroyed. The Emperor is dead, and now like the Empire is in chaos. Like nobody knows who's really running the show here. The New Republic is trying to like kind of wipe out the last of the Empire, and they've built a super weapon in the campaign to do this. And the campaign is you kind of switch in one campaign where you play as both Empire pilots and as New Republic pilot, and you kind of go through the campaign switching sides as you go, and it's quite an enjoyable campaign. You really get a feel for it. It's kind of like an extended tutorial in the fact that they kind of introduce you to all the ships. There's 4 ships on each side. The New Republic gets the X-Wing, the A-Wing, the B-Wing, and the Y-Wing. I think that's the 4. And on the Empire side, you get the TIE Fighter, the TIE Advanced, the TIE Bomber, and I can't remember like the Deceptor. I can't remember the 4th one on the... Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the whole experience is very arcadey. Like the story, while it's not like super in depth, it's good enough, and it feels Star Warsy enough. It's like that extended universe kind of feel to it, where you're not going to play as Luke, you're not going to talk to Leia, but you do see like Wedge. You see like some of the secondary characters, and you feel like you're in that Star Wars universe. The thing they get so good about this game, though, is the feel of flying the ships. It's very arcadey, so it's very easy to do. So like if you tried out like Microsoft Flight Simulator and you're like, this is just too much, like, it's kind of neat to like fly under the London Bridge, but that's about it. It's just you flying these awesome kind of fantasy spacecraft, and they're very fun to fly in that it's arcadey. You don't have to worry about G-forces. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. They'll stop on a dime. They'll accelerate really quick. You can customize your ships as far as like what kind of blasters you want, whether you want ion cannons, what kind of torpedoes you want. you can like have a hull that's harder to lock on to for like lock on missiles, or it's lighter so you get a little more maneuverability, but it really feels like you're in those ships. But where this game really shines is when I put on the VR headset and I felt like I was sitting inside of an X-Wing fighter. It is so convincing. The child in me who like dreamed of this when I was a kid was jumping for joy. You know what I'm saying? It's like on my desk, I got the flight stick and I've got the throttle control. So my hands are like full of the controls. And then I can just like look around so much. In fact, that if I turn around, I can see my R2 unit on the back of my X-Wing, and he kind of like beeps and squawks and says hello when you look at him.
Really cool. That is
and
really cool.
And like I'll be flying past the Star Destroyer and I'll just be looking over, and you can feel the presence of the Star Destroyer. You can feel how huge it is. And it's funny because it doesn't come across as well. I did a video last week where I kind of talked about the game a little bit, and it like the presence of your ship and the scale of everything doesn't come across as well on a flat screen as it does when you're inside that fighter and you can just like look around and like really feel like the presence. The presence is always what I'm coming back to. Is it just feels so incredible. And they do a cool thing where the space is space, but it's filled with stuff. So it's like all your battles take place in like asteroid fields, or there's a level where it's the remnants of Star Destroyers that have been destroyed. So there's all these like big, huge pieces of the Star Destroyer. So when you're doing these dogfights, you're like flying around them to like evade enemy fire, and going through like holes in like the engines. Like you can fly into ships. You can fly. There's one like huge space station that you can fly all the way around, and it makes it so that it's really interesting for the dogfights because there's stuff in the way. It's not just open space. So it's not just like get a missile lock on, fire a missile. You really have to like fly maneuver your starfighter and adjust your throttle to do quick turns at slow speeds, but then, jam it. So you're going full speed to catch up with a ship or to evade a missile. And you're always kind of like navigating this environment, which is a lot more, it's different than other flight sims or space flight sims because often it's just empty space, and really it's about using like flak to get rid of missiles or just absorbing that damage and managing your shields. This is really about maneuvering and flying. And in VR, in this game you can only fire straight ahead of you, right? It's like your lasers are kind of fixed on your wing and they only fire straight. There's a little bit of aim assist, so like you don't have to be like spot on, but like to be able to like be seeing a ship up here who's like arcing up, and like in VR like look up and pull up on the flight stick and like bring your aim up to him. It's like it just feels so good, and they really nailed it. The multiplayer is awesome too. There's 2 modes for multiplayer where there's just like a straight up dogfight, which is like a death match, team-based death match, and then there's this mode that's kind of like a MOBA where each side has these capital ships, like a Death Destroyer or I can't remember what they're called on the Rebellion side, but there's these 2 huge ships, and it's all about like fighting a dogfight in the middle and kind of making progress toward the capital ship of the enemy team. So you're protecting your capital ship and trying to attack their capital ship. So it gives you an objective and reasons to not just kind of like hide behind asteroids and like pick at people like when you can from behind there. And it makes it a really fun multiplayer experience. There's some bugs there for sure. Like it takes I would say about 6 or 7 minutes between matches, which isn't ideal in VR because it's
a long time to wait.
It's a long time to wait. Like in another game where you're just playing on your screen, you can like look at a browser, you can be doing something else. But when you have a VR headset on, obviously, like that's it. You're just looking at like a timer countdown.
That's a true
Which
pilot,
could
though.
be-
If you were waiting for your match to begin, like, would you be
Yeah.
would you be on your phone as a pilot? No. You would be in the cockpit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you were a pilot, you'd be in there. Yeah, I haven't jumped in myself, but I've seen quite a lot of clips on Twitter. And there's been a couple where I'm like, that looks really cool. Like you're just flying around and you come into contact with different ships and different things and you see them flying through. And yeah, it looks really cool, especially in VR. I think for a VR experience, that's probably something that's really
This
Do you
game
think
is
there's-
best in VR for sure.
Yeah. Do you think there's like enough? So because obviously I had a chance to play it, Alexis, like a little while ago, and I mean I think for me, obviously I'm not one that necessarily plays these kind of games. So I don't necessarily think I'm the target. In fact, I'm definitely not the target audience for this. So that's fair
There's
enough,
no Jar Jar in this game.
I mean, that already is unfortunate. I was already writing off before that happened. But what's the point? Like, do you think the range of activities they've got in there, like, is it enough? Because when I played the hands-on thing, I played the deathmatch stuff. I played the kind of larger grand scale battle, and I was like, they're the only modes that are currently available. Like, is there anything that you feel as somebody that plays these games that is like missing right now, or is like the ability to just like dogfight, have a story, and then do the epic battles enough for this kind of game?
It's not a full price game. It's like a $30 or $40 game instead of $60 game.
Oh, okay.
So I do feel like for that price, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, it's got a single player experience. It's got the multiplayer experience. If they add more maps and if they add more multiplayer modes, that's great. I'd be happy about that. But for what they're charging, I think it's spot on. And hopefully, you know, it's popular enough that they decide to support it. There's no microtransactions in the game. There's a ton of unlockables, like customizations for your ship are unlockable, like different laser blasters, different missiles, different hulls, like that kind of stuff. And then there's also customizations like cosmetically, but it's all unlocked by playing the game, no microtransactions.
How long is the campaign?
Is there a Jar Jar Binks statue?
I don't know. I haven't finished the campaign. I've heard like 10 to 12 hours, but I haven't done it myself.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I
think
played
there's replayability in the campaign, or is it just like one shot and you're probably done?
I think there is. I'm playing kind of. It starts you off on easy mode, and I'm kind of like burning right through. So like I think if I moved it to like medium or hard difficulty, there'd probably be a little more replayability. There's not a lot to the story as far as like, you know, once you've seen it, you're just gonna skip all the cutscenes after that. But it is fun. I would highly recommend playing the story before you jump into the multiplayer because it teaches you how to use a lot of the tools that are on your ship that aren't completely obvious. Like, charging your shields like to the front or to the back is really important in certain fights. Also, just like learning the controls of your ship as far as like, you know, here's why you'd want to, you know, be at half throttle, but full engine power, because you get the most maneuverability that way. Stuff like that it's important when you get against the dogfights or against other human players. But the enemy AI I haven't found is all that interesting. Like it's way more fun to fight people in multiplayer than it is to fight the enemy AI controlled TIE fighters, who it seems like they just they fly very straight lines. But that might be because of the mode I'm playing in, like the easy mode I'm playing in. Whereas, you know, humans are coming up with all sorts of tactics, right? Like some of them they're just picking like the most heavily armed fighters, like a TIE bomber, and they're like basically stopping them right next to an asteroid. So like their ass is completely covered by an asteroid. You cannot sneak up on these people. And then they're just using the starship like a turret. So they're not even flying. And then they just like, they're sniping people out of the sky. And, you know, like the enemy AI is definitely not doing that. Right? I don't know. There might be a little there. I'm enjoying the single player experience, but the multiplayer is where it's at. Like
it seems like
really
it would be a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And that VR sounds really great. What would you recommend for VR? Like, is it all platforms of VR, only select specific ones? Like,
I believe it's everything. I know it's on PlayStation VR, although I've heard the resolution in the headset is a little low for it. So that may change with the PS5, right? It's like,
I would hope,
you know, they'll be able to render at a higher resolution, so that might help. I'm playing with the Valve Index on PC, and the Valve Index, it's convincing. Like it's the Valve Index has a pretty high resolution display per eye, and then also runs at 144 hertz.
Nice.
Yeah,
Which is, it's really smooth. I haven't been getting motion sick at all, which can be a concern with like really fast action flying games like that.
Yeah.
I know it works with the Oculus Quest. The Oculus Quest is the one that has a battery in it, and you can wear out in like your yard or whatever. But you can also plug in via a USB cable to your PC and use it as a headset on your PC. And I know it works that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Index has been fantastic. But that's a lot of money. That's a huge upfront cost, right?
Is like $1,000
VR ready PC, a Valve Index headset. I think it's $800.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It gets up there pretty quick. Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. Right now, there's 2 amazing Star Wars games in VR. There's Vader Immortal, which allows you to play with a lightsaber in the most convincing way I've ever played, like, a lightsaber game. And then there's this. So your Star Wars experience in VR is covered.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Almost. There's no Jar Jar Binks experience, but you're almost covered.
Real Star Wars fans don't want Jar Jar.
We need the Jar Jar Binks single player story spin-off game.
Jar Jar's Big Adventure.
We don't need that at all.
We need Jar Jar's Big Adventure. All right.
Oh, no, we don't need that.
We do.
He gets like on the other side of the planet. He has to start a town. He builds a town square. And he has various resource management type of thing. You're Jar Jar, man.
It's a God game with Jar Jar.
That'd be great.
Jar Jar is God.
Great.
God game with Jar Jar. Man, can I back that project, please?
Yeah. I'm hoping this game is really popular and gets supported into the future because it really is something special. It's, flying around in VR, it's pretty epic, man. It is pretty epic. And it works great on a flat screen, too. Like, it's not just VR that makes it good, but VR really adds to it.
Cool.
Nice.
Tefty, I missed an episode a couple of weeks ago when the 3080 came out, and I was kind of curious what you ended up doing. Did you end up buying a 3080? I know, Watts, you got one early, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. That's for Tomo. I decided that I'm just not going to yet. I'm just gonna wait. Because I have the 2080 Ti, so I'm not like in a rush to upgrade.
Same.
For next gen, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait until some more stuff comes out, see where we're at.
So I missed the pre-order, and I'm still trying to find a pre-order or trying to nab a deal that shows up when I do see it. But I'll get an email, click on it 5 minutes later, it's obviously sold out after 5 minutes.
I feel like you just got to hang out on those websites all day trying to get.
I know, and it feels like such a waste of time.
It's a big job. Yeah, you have to just sit there like refreshing.
Such
okay, what's going on? There's rumors that it's going to happen at 1 p.m. All right, I'm going to be sitting here at 1 p.m. ready to go. Oh, it's not happening. It's actually at 4 p.m. Oh, it's all sorts bad.
Yeah.
So, are you still thinking 3080?
I mean, I know the
3080?
I know the 3070 it got delayed and pushed to I think like October 31st for when it gets put out because they're expecting a huge demand for it. I mean, the 3070 is $500 and it's a little bit more powerful than the 2080 Ti supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine the 3090 blew out immediately and the 3080 blew out immediately and it goes 1500, 800. That $500 3070 is going to be just like within seconds. That stock is going to be gone when they announce it.
The 3080 was in stock for it seemed like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like there were not many of those, and people the demand was super high because the 2080 wasn't that popular. It got more popular as time went on, but initial reviews were pretty down on it. And so I think there were a lot of people in the same boat as Tefty, where the 1080 Ti was the last card they had, or the 1080.
Yeah.
And they kind of sat out for the 2080 generation and were ready to upgrade, especially in COVID, where a lot of people are spending a lot of time at home playing video games. So it seemed like a pretty good time to upgrade. And boy,
Yeah,
that thing sold out fast.
My rationale was the ray tracing wasn't that big of a deal to me. And yes, the graphical bump is there, but it's not like a huge bump in the 20 series. So for me, that was one of the main reasons why I held off. I was like, I mean, yeah, I would like ray tracing, but it seems like it's a dog when you turn it on. And, like, it sucks the performance out. The 3000 series seems to be like the clear upgrade path from a 1080 Ti, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like it's an obvious upgrade. It's clearly going to be better across the board. It's just got to get my hands on one. And also, apparently, what was it? EVGA has had problems.
So there was some speculation, right? When they first came out, people who did end up getting them, they were crashing a lot. And there was some speculation about the capacitors that were being used in some of the third-party cards. There were two different specs of the capacitors. I can't remember the names of them, but one of them was a lower cost capacitor and one of them was higher cost. And there was speculation that the cards that were using that lower cost capacitor were causing these crashes. Then NVIDIA released a driver update and solved the crashing issue. So that seemed to just go away. It was just internet like fucking craziness.
I did not read that
when
article.
When you get a first generation graphics card, they're always somewhat unstable because those drivers are brand new, right?
Yep.
It's one of those things about being a early adopter. You always get fucked when you're a early adopter.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I would love to get an Asus Strix 3080. That would be amazing.
Are those even out yet?
I don't know if it finally came out or if it's really close to coming out, but I think I saw the Amazon page for it and I signed up for a notification. I think I signed up for a notification. Things are a little blurry for me since I've been sick for the past few days.
Also, there's been a lot of pre-ordering going on lately.
There has.
It's kind of hard to remember, like, where did I get my PS5?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
the only pre-order I've been successful so far is the PS5, which is like, at least I got the PS5, but I definitely wanted a Series X as well, and I haven't been able to secure one of those, and I'm missing out on a 3080 as well. So I'm like, two strikes.
I was really thinking about getting a 3090, but those sold out immediately too. So I was like,
it's been impossible.
I'm gonna sit this out. I think in like January or February, I'll start thinking about graphics cards again. But considering that there's 2 new consoles coming out in November, plus Beyond Light, plus Cyberpunk, plus everything, right?
Plus.
I honestly don't think I'm gonna be playing on my PC that much, to be honest with you. And for Destiny in particular, like 28 Ti is plenty to run 1440p
for Destiny.
Like, for plenty.
Sure. But also, I mean, on Destiny, you're gonna want it's gonna be interesting to compare the console experience to the PC, and the PvP experience is hopefully gonna be untainted from the issues that we've seen on PC. But also,
there's a lot of unwholesome things happening on PC.
Exactly. But with Cyberpunk, though, I am gonna have to play that on PC because the graphical updates aren't gonna happen until later sometime on console. So what
do you mean graphical updates?
So the PS5 full horsepower version isn't going to happen until sometime down the road in a future update.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So the PS5 and Xbox One
they're going to be last gen copies essentially that are playing on that hardware. I know. I was bummed out to find out.
It is a bummer.
Yeah, because I was like, I want to, like Watts, you were saying, I want to experience the console and everything that has as a launch. Get into the ecosystem of the console, play the games that come out on whatever platform. Like, I want to see it on the PS5 and see what's happening with it. And then when I found that out about Cyberpunk, I was like, okay, that's not happening. At least I have a 1080 Ti. At the very least.
Yeah. So will there be ray tracing at all in Cyberpunk on consoles?
Not until they do the update.
Not until the update.
What the how am I supposed to play that game without ray tracing? I obviously got to get the PC.
You got a 2080 Ti.
I do.
It's gonna chug along. You have to reduce that.
I can't. I'm not even ray tracing that one.
Yeah.
I'm playing the retro version.
I have a 980 Ti in my other computer in the other office. That is, it's on its last leg. I'm starting to see lines on it. Like, Adobe Premiere will be on there, and you'll see lines going through the footage, and it's like, Okay, this we're like I actually have to buy a graphics card soon.
Yeah.
Because that thing is about to go, which means
Yeah.
that like I'd put the 1080 Ti into that one and then finally have like hopefully a 3080. But with the stock as it is currently, I'm like nervous, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
nervous.
plan is to put my 2080 Ti, if I buy a 3080 or 3090, is put my 2080 Ti in my editing PC
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like, move down a slot. And then the 2060 that I'm using in my editing PC will probably end up on eBay or something.
Yeah. There you go.
Or I can't even give it to my kids because the kids have 1080s. And I don't think the 2060 is more powerful than a 1080, is it?
Better encoder. That's basically it, I think.
Yeah, but they don't stream.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just give it to them in case one of their 1080s dies or something. Maybe I just hold on to that.
It's always good to have a backup.
Yeah, man.
Just in case.
I want a 3090. I really do. I want the NVIDIA one. I want the BF GPU, right? Like I watched all the reviews. Okay, it's marginally faster than a 3080. It is obviously not the smart choice, as far as like money or power or anything goes. But it's so big.
Isn't it?
That big, right?
Isn't it bigger?
so big.
It's bigger than the Xbox Series X, right? The Xbox 4. Sorry.
I think it is, yeah.
I think it's the
so.
Series S. Yeah, it's huge, man. It's gigantic. I think it's just comically large, and I want to have one in my life.
Would you fit it in your PC, or would you have to like just cut a hole and just have it poke out the back of your PC?
Oh, it'll fit. It'll fit. I got a big PC case.
Okay.
It'll definitely fit. I did the measurements.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure I'm going to buy one because it's like you get what 10% better performance at 4K than a 3080.
Just 10%?
Yeah, but it's like
For
more
twice
than
the
double
amount of money?
the price.
Holy crap. Twice the amount of cash, you only get 11% increase? 10%? I don't know.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
definitely not the
yeah,
smart
it's-
choice.
No.
That's the burning
What's bigger?
cash.
But
Is
it's
the
large.
CPU bigger, or is the PS5 bigger? That's the question.
Oh, definitely the PS5. That thing
PS5
is a
is,
unit.
yeah.
What's going on with the PS5? I'm looking at YouTube and I'm watching like blogs, like gaming websites and stuff, and they're all like, "Hey, we've got an Xbox One or we got an Xbox 4 in stock." Or in the house, and we're testing it on this game, and we're showing off this game, and here's what the controller looks like, and here's all the stuff on the back. And the PS5 is like chirp.
So they recently had an event. They had an event last week, but only in Japan. And it seems like I don't get why they're doing it, but they're like, it was super, super restricted to the point where like Japanese YouTubers and influencers were invited down. They were able to hold the controller, play some games. They could not touch the console. Their photos were taken in a very interesting perspective so that the console doesn't look so massive. There's even to the point that there is
They're
still
like
plastic.
Photos.
Get my good
where you're,
side. Get my
taking them
good
from up
side.
here.
Yeah.
Still making my
Like that.
forehead look massive.
Basically,
Please.
yeah. There was also some. There was also like some like even to the point where the plastic you would normally peel off the console was left on the console, and some people have some photos and they're like, "I want to take this off." They couldn't touch it, but they were able to play like a load of demos. So they got to go and play through that sort of the playroom one with the little like white robots. They actually got to play a Godfall demo, which is actually really interesting. Like what appears to be the very beginning of the game. So it's actually the first time we saw it. I mean, my understanding is it's placeholder, but it's the first time we've seen like it with UI and stuff. So they kind of walked through the sanctum, like fought some enemies. Actually got to fight a boss. So it's kind of the first time we sort of seen cohesive gameplay to the very end. Kind of goes to the first flow where it introduces you to combat. You pick up your shield, teaches you about like shield mechanics and stuff, and then you fight like a little sort of like mini boss at the end. So it looks pretty like really cool. They also got to play Devil May Cry like remastered on PS5. I think there might have been one more game, but yeah. So there have been some people like in Japan who have been hands on, but yeah, it was a very kind of sort of strict event about like what you can and can't do. So
I feel like there's I feel like there's so much we don't know about that console still, and it's a month away from releasing. Like, I feel like I just learned based on that Japanese stuff is that the triggers are haptic, right? Did we know that before? That it had haptic feedback?
Sure we knew
we
that,
did
yeah.
know that. Okay. I knew that about the Xbox, but I don't feel like I knew it about the PlayStation.
Yeah, I feel like that was, in fact, that was one of the first things I think that one of the very few things they said. Like, I think in the first sort of like Mark Cerny kind of interview, they weren't even talking about the console. They were like, "Hey, our controller can do this." It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they showed the controller first. Remember? Yeah.
And then and we haven't seen like what's the cross media bar going to look like the dashboard going to look like? Have we seen that yet?
No, all we've seen so far is just the little like login screen with like the little dot thing. But outside of that, there's a lot of unknowns, which is bizarre. It's definitely got to be the weirdest year for console releases in general. I mean, obviously, I know the whole kind of COVID thing is mixed up, but you think back to your typical console launch, we would have had an E3 where they probably would have showed the console, then people would have gone to like a hands-on event at E3, seen it, got hands-on, tried it, tested it, seen the UI, all this stuff. But yeah, like as you say, the fact that we are quite literally just over a month away now, and I mean, only today did we see the back of the PS5.
Just now we did. There's pictures of the back of it. Is it slanted away from you, or like
no? I think it's still pretty much the same, but it just looks like it looks
flat.
It always looks kind of weird from the back. Because like the front, you've kind of got the pointy little like crown with like the Eye of Sauron thing. On the back, it's like it almost looked like a kind of knockoff version of the PS5. And it's like no, it's just the back of it. So
I just typed PS5 ass into Google search and did not get what I was hoping for.
Oh boy.
Should have tried Bing, I guess.
Oh dear. Yeah, so that's where they're currently at. So I mean, I don't know whether their plan is just to kind of keep it cloak and dagger until it launches and then surprise. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, Microsoft has put a whole bunch of Series X's out in the wild, and people are posting YouTube videos about them and like showing their experiences.
True. Where's mine, Microsoft? Where's mine?
Where's mine?
Well, I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. They're showing like backward compatibility and like the games. Here's this game running at 60 FPS, and here's it runs at true 4K now. Like Gears of War 5. It looks great on a Xbox One X, but look how good it looks on this new Series X with full resolution. As I kind of want to start seeing that stuff for PS5. I've already got it pre-ordered. It's not like they're selling me on something. It's just like I'm starting to get a little concerned that Sony's a little bit behind the 8 ball with this launch. Like, is this thing gonna what condition is the PS5 gonna launch in? I've already got mine pre-ordered. I'm looking forward to the day it comes out. This isn't me hating on PlayStation. And to be honest with you, in the era of COVID, like delays and like issues with development are 100% understandable.
Yeah.
But I am kind of concerned, like, what condition is this thing going to arrive in?
Yeah.
I wonder whether it's still that kind of thing, because there's that element of like Sony have always been quite complacent and also kind of very sure of their position, right? They're always, in the PS4, again, it's why they stall on the whole like crossplay thing, because they're like, well, why do we need to do crossplay? We're like, we've probably got the most sales there is out there, and people come to us for their games, so why are we going to kind of distribute that across? I wonder whether they're almost look at it and be like, well, look, you know what? Microsoft is giving people like Series X's, but the harsh reality is they don't have any first-party games for launch, so maybe Sony are just like, we don't need to show you much. Like, if you want first-party games, you're going to be buying our console, and then you can play the third-party games on either the Series X or our console. Okay, yes, I mean, as we kind of discussed, like, Series X is still insane value for launch because you get Game Pass with it, and you have EA games, and you have all that stuff like that. So you've got plenty of stuff to play, but maybe they're thinking for, like, the hardcore, because that's the other thing you need to think about as well, is, like, when it comes to console launches, like, really, the people that buy day one are like your hardcore enthusiasts. They're the people that, like, no matter what, if your console is like doo-doo because you've got bugs and stuff, I'm going to be there day one. And the hardcore are the people that really, really care about those exclusives, right? So they're probably thinking, maybe they're just like, we don't really need to show too much because people are going to come to us. We've got the games. We've got Spider-Man on day one. We've got Demon's Souls. We've got Godfall. We've got, there was a fourth title.
Bug Snacks.
Bug Snacks. We got Bug Snacks. And we've got all the third parties. Whereas they were like, if they go to, Series X, then they've got, So I don't know.
I think that's honestly what they're playing, is that they've got the first party stuff, and they expect people to buy in if they want that. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, in the era of COVID, it's like, the fact that they're both of these companies are getting a new console launch and they've got games launching with them is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Like
It is.
considering
It
like
really
all the stay-at-home stuff and like imagine trying to release a brand new product this year where like, is the company that makes the processor for this open? Are they operating it right now? Like
Right.
imagine, like it's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
So like even if it launches not quite ideal, like within a year we'll have forgotten all about how it launched, right? We'll be talking about this, the second year of titles that are coming out, like the stuff that's really developed straight for the PS5 too. It's like, or the Xbox Series X, not the kind of ports.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It will be interesting seeing like long term. I was just looking at the Xbox One and PS5 sales statistics throughout the generation. The Xbox One did better than I thought it did. It sold, I mean, the PS5 outsold it by like 2-1 basically. But Xbox One did better than I thought it did. It was like 54 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that just flat Xbox One, or does that include like Xbox One, Xbox One X, and stuff like that? Or
I'm sure it's all of them. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
S, X, all those, whatever.
Yeah.
God, why did they do it the same way? S and X, it's like so confusing. Microsoft, you fucked that up so bad. Like you've done everything else wonderfully, except that naming is just
god awful.
Worst.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
confusing.
bad.
It's not too late. Just slap a 4 on there. Get some decals. I was at the park the other day. There's a guy making vinyl prints for frisbees. He's got some extra time.
I should have tried to steal some of Sony's thunder and just skip 4 and call it the Xbox 5. And then people are like, wait, do I want the PS5? The Xbox 5? I don't know. Which one?
They have a pretty loose relationship with numbers anyway. Look at Windows 10. There was no Windows 9. You know?
Why not just call it the Xbox 6? And then you're like, ours is a number bigger. So
take that, fuckers.
All of the parents will be like, it's a 6, which is better than 5. So clearly this one's a little more advanced. We're getting that one.
Sure.
I mean, the big joke during pre-order was that people accidentally ordered the wrong one.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so similar.
Imagine that.
That
Imagine like, yep, I secured your. Don't worry, I secured your Xbox, Jimmy, for Christmas. You have it for Christmas. Okay, you definitely got the right one. Yeah, I got it. The X, right? Yeah, the X. Okay, cool. Wait,
it's super materialistic, but it's a big thing for parents, like kind of feeling like they nailed Christmas. You know, like it makes you feel good. Like, oh, I nailed it, right? It's like I got him exactly what he wanted. And like it's actually really hard to get, so I'm like really proud of it. And I'm like talking at the water cooler about, oh yeah, I got one. Jimmy's gonna be really psyched.
It's like when,
and then he opens it, and you find out you picked the wrong one, and it's outside of the return policy.
Oh, God.
On the plus side, if you bought someone the Xbox One X, at least you can say to him, like, look, Jimmy, right? It might not be the new Xbox, but at least this one's got Halo.
True.
So there you go.
Oh man, should we talk about Genshin? It's been.
We gotta talk about. Yeah, has anyone who has played?
I downloaded it.
Okay.
I feel like I played it. It took me 10 hours to download it, which like 10 hours. That's like a full campaign.
Yeah, it took me 10 hours too.
I've never felt the need or want to flaunt a preload before, but it happened. People are like, oh, it's like really long downloads, 12 hours. I'm like, it was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
not the size of the file. It's the speed at which their servers can handle the incredible excitement that people want this game.
It was really crazy because I've been in their Discord since before the game came out. It was like in its beta phase. And I think it had like, I don't know, I want to say 10,000 people in it. And then within a day, it went up to over 400,000 people in the Discord.
Wow.
So I can only imagine that they were like, whoa, what the heck is happening? It's really impressive, actually, that their servers have managed to be totally fine. There's been zero problem getting into the game, staying in the game, connections. It's been perfect.
Nice. How much time do you have in the game so far?
I think I'm at about 45 hours.
45 hours.
Oh, so you haven't been playing that much.
No, not even. I have not even
there.
scratched the surface. Not even scratched the surface. I haven't even gotten to the part where I get to do stuff. Yeah, the game is massive. Absolutely massive.
So what have you done in 40 hours then? Like give me a scope.
I'm adventure rank like 26 or something. So you have your adventure rank and then you have your like individual character ranks. So your adventure rank is just like your level, your account level. You can kind of think of it as. So I'm adventure rank 26, something around there. I have gotten to the second village or second town. So there's in the world, there's a bunch of different elements, and each element kind of has a god that's associated with it. So we're kind of thinking that eventually there's going to be 7 parts of the map with 7 cities because there's 7 elements. And currently we have the air god and the air city, the air region, and then we also have the geo, which is like the earth kind of rocks, stones,
magnetic fields.
Geological things. So we currently only have 2. We know for sure that another one is coming, and that's going to be Japanese themed, the next zone that's coming. So they're going to keep adding these massive zones.
We gotta just pause right there.
Yes. Yes.
I've seen screenshots. I haven't played the game yet, and I've seen you play it. So that's not already Japanese?
No. We have you've got Mondstadt, which is like a European, go to the city, it's very European looking. The characters have European names. And then you go over to Liyue, which is Chinese themed, so everything looks very Chinese. The characters have Chinese names. Yeah. Not Japan yet. We have not reached Japan.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the game is going to be massive.
Yeah, we're going to get a snow region? An ice world?
Maybe.
Ice element?
Yeah, because there's an ice god, so maybe.
Yeah.
But it's every time I reach a new part of the map, I'm like, this is the most gorgeous part of the map I've ever seen. When you get to Liyue, things are absolutely ridiculous looking.
Would you say
there's just so much to do?
Would you say in 40 hours have you reached endgame for what's available in launch?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. How long do you think it takes to get to endgame then?
I think you want to be at least adventure rank 40 before you start hitting the end game activities, which is like farming for the highest level stuff.
Wow. And you're 26 right now?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite the climb.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and the story content is great. You can just walk around the world, and there's things constantly to explore. And I think that's what's really amazing, is that I can be going to do my daily mission that's just out there somewhere, and I'm like, oh, there's a chest over there, I'm gonna go do the chest. And I'm like, oh, there's a challenge to go unlock. Oh, there's a domain over there that I haven't discovered yet. So it makes it really organic with getting different things in the world and exploring it.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's just a pleasure to be in there.
So I've only played a little bit so far, and I definitely enjoyed what I did play. And I noticed that like there's a very natural rhythm to how the landscape is laid out and how you go and discover things and get a chest. And every time you open a chest, you're always getting adventure rank, so you're getting an XP no matter what activity you're doing. And I thought that was really smart. They've done a great job with the game.
They really have. It's super polished. You always feel rewarded for everything you do. No, because like say that there's a quest that's multiple steps, you will get rewarded for every part of those steps. So you never feel like it's just, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not at the end yet. Like you're always getting XP and items that you can use. And even if you get a low level item, you can use that to put into your higher level items. So there's nothing that you're ever getting that is a waste of time or unwanted or unneeded. So it just always feels like you're working towards stuff. So they really nailed that progression and inviting you to explore.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Have you gotten every character?
No, there's currently 24 playable characters that you can get. I think I have 17.
17. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, also,
and they're going to add more and more.
In 40 hours, have you reached a point where you have to like, do you just have to wait for resources to upgrade your characters, or at a certain point you're gonna have to spend money to upgrade?
There's never a point where you need to spend money, because the thing in the game that makes your characters the most powerful are the artifacts. Because you can have a 5-star character with a 5-star weapon, fully leveled up constellation and all that stuff. But if they don't have good artifacts, they're not going to be putting out the damage or the healing that you need. And artifacts you can only get by playing the game.
Interesting.
So the
okay.
only way to like really get strong enough to take on the more difficult content is to farm for the artifacts and get those artifacts. So the only thing that will make you feel like you're getting locked out is there is a system called resin. So you have 120 resin that you can use in a day, and you use resin to open chests after like big boss fights or going through certain dungeons and stuff like that. And you have to use the resin to open the box to get the loot.
Oh, interesting.
So and that replenishes over time, but there are ways to spend in-game currency that you get to get that resin to be replenished to open more stuff. So you can use that in-game currency to turn it into premium currency to try and get more characters and stuff. Or you can use it to try and farm to get better artifacts to make your character stronger. So it's kind of just that thing that you're balancing of, do I want to just save all of this so I don't have to spend any money at all and I can just roll a bunch of times and maybe get all the characters that I want? Or do I want to use that currency for farming and like really speccing out the characters I do have?
Cool.
So that's the only thing, is just having to replenish that so you can keep farming. But even if you use all of it and you're like, I don't want to replenish at all, there's so many things that you can do to get XP. And even to get the currency to be able to replenish your resin if you want to. So everything's always giving you that currency, which is really nice.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there has not been a point from what I've seen and heard and experienced where people have felt I have to pay.
Yeah, I definitely didn't feel that in the beginning. I played 4 hours, almost 5 hours, and I didn't see any kind of like, oh, I suddenly have to fork out money.
No, you really can just ignore that part of the game and be totally fine.
Yeah.
They'll give you a bunch of free stuff that you can use to do that part of the game, which is essentially like loot boxes. But if you don't want to add on, you're like, I just want to play the game. You can totally do that.
I think anybody who's mildly interested in this should absolutely play because it's free.
No, it's free. Yeah.
It's free. Yeah.
Like,
It's
I really want to play it, but I kind of want to like, because I don't have the time to invest in it properly right now. So I know that if I jump into it right now, I'll do that kind of thing where I play for like 5 hours and I get nowhere. So I kind of want to wait because it's supposed to be coming to Nintendo Switch. So I feel like I'm going to be able to I'm hoping that because it's delayed on Switch, I'm hoping they drop it at a time when nothing else is out and then I can play it because it looks fantastic.
The middle of November.
I mean, yeah, that would be great.
That'd be ultimate timing.
I can just play it on Christmas Day. That would be fantastic. I would love that. Sit down.
That would be good.
Visually, it looks awesome. It's like it's my kind of game as well. Like, I love those kind of things. So like I know 100% that I would enjoy it because I played like a little bit before it even came out anyway, and I just didn't want to like because when I was in the beta, I didn't want to play too much. So I was like so I kind of just want to play it when it's out. And then here I am with no time to play it. So maybe I'll play it on my phone.
It's freaking. You could, you could. I'm really hoping that cross save comes to Switch. I would assume that it would. I assume it's just a PlayStation thing that the cross save isn't going to happen with, because then that would be great. You could start on your phone, play whenever you're free, and then just put it on the Switch when it arrives.
Yeah, I was gonna start it on the PlayStation, but I was like, I just don't want to restrict myself to just having the PlayStation. Like, if it does come to the Switch, I'd like to cross save onto the Switch and like, mobile phone, like whatever. Like, it's so cool to be able to use cross save. So I decided to go PC version.
It's been really nice. I didn't know how much I would enjoy having something on my phone because I don't really play many games on my phone, but it is nice to just hop in and be like, oh, I forgot to claim my daily reward. Let me go get that. Or, oh, I have a bunch of stuff that I need to organize and maybe I want to enhance some characters. I can do that really easily. Yeah. It's been nice.
So like really inventory management you could do on the phone as well?
Yeah, it's the inventory management's actually pretty easy because they give you an option to auto add all of your kind of junk into your weapon or to your artifact.
Nice.
So you just press a button, auto add. Just bump up my stats. Don't care what it is.
Does it just continually bump it up? Is there like a limit to how much bumping it could do?
There is, but you can then choose to like upgrade the weapon. So say you can get to level 20 of a weapon. You then have to spend a little bit more in-game currency with in-game items that you collect from monsters to make it go from 20 to 40.
Oh, to
and then
unlock
you do the same thing again.
Unlock the next
it's
tier.
like unlocking tiers.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy game. I don't really understand it. I'm just playing it and I'm like, this is weird. It's weird that it's free and that it's so massive. And at no point are they like, yo, looks like you should pay some money because you're struggling, eh? They're just like, they had so many people pre-register for this game. They had like 10 million people hop on the first day. Even if everyone paid for the little pass that's $4.99 that gives you currency throughout the span of a month, they're big balling. So I think they're just like, take it for free. I don't care. Spend money, doesn't matter. We got plenty of people that are spending money.
It's great. I mean, when you become like a fan of a game, like you have no problem spending money on it.
Exactly. That's exactly the thing that I see all the time is people are saying, you know, I'm currently getting more content out of this than a lot of $60 games. I'll give them $60 or I'll pay for this thing that's going to give me currency for a month.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So something else that was announced today.
Yes. There was a trailer
for Ghost of Tsushima, right?
Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which, in case anyone needs reminding, Ghost of Tsushima was the samurai game that took the world by storm.
Indeed.
Yes. Right.
Game of the year.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Japan.
Yeah.
But like better.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're going to be bringing out a like multiplayer mode. But not only that, they did also announce that they're bringing loadouts. So now, you know, sometimes you want to be the sneaky ghost, so you want to have all your stealthy stuff, and sometimes you want to be just your samurai. So you can spec out full loadouts with all of the talismans and stuff, and you can just freely switch between them. So loadouts are coming, which is really nice.
Cool.
They're also adding New Game Plus for the main game. And they look like they're adding like new talismans that you can get. You can get new abilities. Like they've added stuff to the game as well. It's not just New Game Plus, but there's things for you to obtain in New Game Plus, which is really cool. And then the biggest thing that they're adding is a whole new multiplayer mode. So they showed in the trailer, the cosmetics are insane.
Yeah.
If you have not seen the trailer of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, look it up because the cosmetics are ridiculous, and you earn all of this through in-game, which is amazing. And they showed that there's like a kind of upgrade system. Like you get to pick a class. There's support classes. There's like a bow class. There's assassins, and you get to create your class as you go into this multiplayer. And they said that they're going to be adding a raid.
Your character from the single player?
No. It's kind of like a create a class from like Call of Duty or something. It's really cool. But it says there's a little bit of a breakdown of things. So the classes are samurai, which seems to be based on open combat and regaining health as you cut through enemies. There's a hunter, which is the archery class, and you'll have access to a sword if you need it, but it's mainly focused on archery. They then have a Ronin, which is kind of like a support class with the ability to revive your teammates. And you get spirit dogs that you can run around with that will assist you.
Spirit dogs are awesome.
Spirit spooky pet dogs. Yeah. Amazing. Perfect.
I mean, I can't wait for that to come out, man. I really enjoyed that game. I'd love to play some multiplayer. I'm really looking forward to the raid. I guess the raid is going to release a little later, but you'll probably want to play some of the multiplayer to get geared up, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. And get all those cool cosmetics so you can flaunt them in front of your friends.
I just want the big old hat.
Give me my big old hat back. That's all I need.
The one from Big Trouble in Little China, specifically.
This was when I saw this trailer drop, I kind of just assumed not that it was a tacked on multiplayer, but that it was just kind of a small thing that's being added to it. But not only does the multiplayer look genuinely fleshed out to be a real thing, but also adding the New Game Plus and the loadouts and new items for the single player. That's just amazing.
Really cool. Yeah, I was surprised too. I was like, whoa, this isn't just an update. This is like, here's the next edition or the next part of your journey, Yeah,
they released a date too, October something, right?
Yeah.
16th.
October 16th.
Next Friday.
Nice.
Next Friday. Are we going to have a DCP multiplayer hopping?
I'm down with that.
We're going to have it.
I think so.
I would love to.
It's the same day as the Monster Hunter seasonal update as well.
It is. And it's also, I think, a couple days after or before the Neo 2 DLC, the second DLC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
October got busy.
Yeah.
Hi, October. Hello.
So a new dragon has appeared in Monster Hunter World.
It has.
It sure did.
Fatalis, the big final dragon. The big. It was an awesome fight. Has anyone had a chance to jump in?
I have not. I've seen it.
Okay.
I've watched the fight, but I have not played it myself.
It is a very, very, very nicely done fight. It's very tough when you first do it, and obviously it does require a lot of communication. It can be soloed, but at the same time, it is also challenging if you're trying to sort of jump on with a group and whatnot. But at the same time, I really like the way they did this one because Fatalis, of course, in Legend is like this legendary black dragon and stuff. It's supposed to be like this big, fearsome, destructive power, and they do a very good job of painting that picture because obviously we get to go back to the old world and we get to revisit a place called Castle Shrade, which is a location that you would historically have fought Fatalis in previous games. So we get to see a new location. The setting is really cool. It's got like this whole kind of story around it and everything like that. But I like the way they did the difficulty in this one because the fight, obviously prior to this, we had Alatreon added, which was also a really, really good fight. But I think the really big difference between these two, Alatreon, they went about it in a very different way. It almost had borderline MMO mechanics, which, I've played MMOs before, but for people that play Monster Hunter as their kind of primary thing, the mechanics didn't necessarily sit too well with the way that Monster Hunter is typically played. Like Alatreon had that mechanic whereby if you haven't hit an elemental DPS threshold, then he's basically got a move that will just wipe you.
Mm-hmm.
And although technically speaking, the game had like voice commands that was like, the handler would say, oh, you need to do more elemental damage. It wasn't telegraphed in a typical MMO way. So it's like you put in MMO mechanics, but if you were played in MMO, there would be a very obvious tell that would be like, you should probably do this to not die. So for a lot of the time, people were banging their head against the wall with Alatreon and being like, how am I supposed to survive this seemingly impossible thing? Whereas fast forward to Fatalis, it is very, very tough. But I feel like a lot of the time when you fail to it, you're like, you can see why you failed. It's kind of fair failure. You're like, all right, you know what? I didn't do enough damage here, or I got burned by this fire attack, or I've got this, but you can see where you went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally really like it. Like it's one of those ones where it took me a little while to sort of like defeat Alatreon, and then I was kind of like, once I was done, I was like, I think I'm fine for the time being. Whereas for Fatalis, I'm like, let me go and hunt it again. Like it's, farming it straight away for its armor. And it also worked out because it's a difficult fight, but it also now has basically a broken armor set. Like it's just like you're at the end of the game. It's so powerful. You've got because you know from like when you play like in Iceland before, like you've had some armor sets. If you have like the armor set skill bonus, it will raise the cap on a skill. So you might have something like Agitator, which normally can be a level 5 skill, but if you have Agitator Secret, it can be like a level 7. So in order to do that normally, you'd have to wear very specific armor pieces. So the Fatalis set bonus, if you have 2 pieces, it unlocks any armor cap for any skill.
Really?
So you can basically have like Agitator Secret, Slugger Secret, like maximum, like anything that's got a secret thing. As long as you gem it in, you can put it in.
Wow.
It also by default gives you, if you got the 4-piece set bonus, gives you True Razor Sharp, which is insane for your sharpness or for your like bowgun ammo. It also gives you plus 100 health and stamina, so you don't even need to run health boosts. And if you get the beta set, it's got 15 level 4 slots, the most slots in the armor. And if you run with Fatalis weapon, you have 2 more level 4 slots. You have 17 level 4 slots. So this is quite literally, you can just, it's like a blank canvas. Just throw all the decorations you want in, and you can get some insane combinations.
Yeah, that's great.
Capcom are literally like, well, you got to the end of Iceborne, you fought the toughest monster. Now just go and make a broken armor set and do whatever the hell you want with it, because now you can be powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it a lot. The fight takes place in a number of different phases. So, you go initially, the very first time you do it, you have the cutscene. You have to actually do the first part solo. It kind of acts like a tutorial. And then once you've done that, you unlock the ability to play it multiplayer. But like the first phase, you kind of start outside the castle. You have to kind of do some damage to it, hit like a damage threshold. It flies away, breathes fire down the arena, breaks down the gates, and then you get to like the bigger area. and then you can start using the ballistas and the dragonators and stuff. And there's a few different phases to it where, like, I guess I don't want to say too much because in case you decide to fight it, so I don't want to kind of spoil it too much. But it's cool. It's really cool.
That's cool. I like that they gave, if this is the last monster, like, they gave a end game armor set to make like broken builds. I like that they did that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It's like
it's really good.
Like a send off set, you know?
Definitely, yeah. And it kind of like gives you more of an incentive now, because now that you've got this all powerful armor set and you now realize that you've got all these crazy slots to fill it with. Now I guess when the event quests come around next week, people will be more flocking towards like the quests that you can use to farm decorations. Because like now I'm like, I've got all these slots, but I need a hell of a lot of decorations. So yeah. So it's cool. So yeah, there's still a few more things from Monster Hunter. I mean, that's technically speaking the last like new monster, so to speak. We do still have like Arc-Tempered Volcano, but that's more of a kind of just like, you know, side sort of thing. And then obviously we have the Halloween event next week. And then for all intents and purposes, that's kind of Iceborne done and dusted.
Nice.
Yeah. On to Rise.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. I'm ready.
That's great.
I'm really excited about Rise because it's going to be on the Switch. Like that's primarily why I'm excited about it, because just having like a Monster Hunter World like experience on the Switch just sounds perfect to me.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. I that's the thing. I love World. Iceborne is like definitely, you know, incredible for the series, and it's like one of my favorite Monster Hunter games. But because I grew up and like playing, like, you know, my first foray into Monster Hunter was portable. Like almost all of my monster hunting experience over the past, you know, like 12 years has been portable, short of the past 3 years with World and whatnot. So yeah, to see it return to like portable, because that's the thing. It generally used to be my travel game. Like if ever I was going on flights or anything like that, it would always be Monster Hunter I took with me. So yeah, being able to do that on the go is going to be so good.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's such a good game to have on a plane. If you're on a long flight, it'll be over just like that. You got so much grinding to do, so many things to fight.
Yeah, it won't need online access, will it, to play it? Hopefully.
Don't know actually. I mean, I would imagine not. They haven't kind of gone into the specifics or anything like that just yet. But I would imagine, given that they're kind of they specifically said in like TGS they were kind of building it with like, you know, portability in mind. So I would imagine probably not.
Good.
Couldn't you not play it on? Couldn't you play Monster Hunter World not online, or did you have to log in to play it?
I mean, technically you can, but like if you go to log in, it kind of gives you it prompts you to sort of join a session. But I think if you're not actually connected, you can still get in. But obviously, a lot of the thing around World is that it does work. Like a lot of the things, like event quests and stuff, I believe, work around that kind of like online service.
Connecting to their server,
yeah, which makes sense on a console or PC. Absolutely.
Yeah.
On the Switch, it'd be nice. I'm sure they're taking it into account.
I'm sure, they're like, all the people are gonna want to play our game on the train, and the train don't get no service when it's under the ground.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's SideQuest, right?
I think it is.
That was a fun one.
I can complete. You might be able to check out DCP playing Ghost of Tsushima Legends on the day that it launches.
Yeah, we should try to make that happen. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be super fun. That'll be a shit show for sure. I really hope that you could hurt your teammates. Like friendly fire, please be on.
Briar's just gonna be throwing bombs at him.
You were gonna take a kunai to the face if you do that. Well, thank you very much for watching and listening and hanging out for DCP SideQuest episode number 66. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. Eric's, where can people find you?
Over on Twitter at Eric's or YouTube Eric's Gaming, where this week I'll be talking about more Monster Hunter.
Nice.
That's what I do.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. And we're going to be playing more Genshin Impact. And then definitely some Destiny for Festival of the Lost.
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah. God damn.
It's almost Halloween.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me in a galaxy far, far away, taking care of business, taking out these assholes.
Wave at him as he scoots by you, everybody.
Yeah, check out that
Oh,
that
there's
A-wing,
Brad.
man. It is super fast. Little tip.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.